Welcome to Gardening Utah. I'm your host, Jana Francis, and on today's show, we have a very special episode because today's show was recorded at the Salt Lake Home and Garden Show. Now, first of all, I was able to have a really fun booth there, as I mentioned in the last show, where I was able to meet so many existing listeners in person and was able to introduce this show to so many people at that show. So it was a lot of fun. I had so much fun meeting everybody. And I was also able to go around and not only speak with so many incredible companies that were there, but I did some really fun interviews, and I'm going to take you along the show with me. Now, what you're going to want to really listen for is the show specials. So if you are listening to this show in the month of March in 2025, the show specials that you will hear in this episode are still valid. So if you missed the Home and Garden Show, you can listen to this episode and contact any of the companies that you're interested in and take advantage of the specials that they were only giving at the show. So how cool is that? So this episode is going to be quite different than those in the past in that I have a lot of different guests today because I just bebop around the show and do little mini interviews. Some are a little bit longer than others, depending on the topic and how much time we had and also how loud it was. It was really difficult to get good audio at the show, so you will hear a little bit of background noise, but we really did our best to record at times when it wasn't too crowded or too busy, and I think it sounds pretty good. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed this episode. I certainly had fun meeting so many new people, but also I ran into a bunch of really good friends along the way too, so you'll hear those interviews as well. Now, the other thing to keep in mind is this isn't just about the show specials. This is also a little bit of garden Q&A because I did ask each different company that I spoke with what advice they have for the Utah gardeners. And it was really interesting how similar some were and how completely different some were as well. So I think you'll enjoy this episode. I'm really excited to have a few of the people that I spoke with back on the show for a full-length episode. Really looking forward to that because I did meet so many cool people. And one last thing, keep in mind that I will put all of the contact information for everyone I spoke with in the episode notes. So as you're listening to the show, if you're outside gardening or driving in the car, don't worry, just check the episode notes and there will be the links there to visit the websites of each individual company as well as phone numbers, etc. So episode notes will be chock full with the ways to contact each person I spoke with. So let's head on over to the Salt Lake Home and Garden Show. Well, I'm here at one of my favorite booths at the Home and Garden Show. I am here at, well, a lot of you will see, you would think that it's the big yellow bag booth, which kind of looks like it. But it is also BioGrass Sod Farms, the title sponsor of the Home and Garden Show here in Salt Lake City. And I'm here with my good buddy, Hayden Duffin. Thanks for joining me.
Thank you, Jana. Thank you for having me on.
Heck yeah. I've wanted to have you on the show for so long, so it's fitting that we finally got it done at the Home and Garden.
Yes, it's a beautiful day here. There's lots of people out, and we're having a great time. It's been very productive. So thanks for stopping by.
Heck yeah. So as I said, a lot of people are noticing, big yellow bag everywhere, but that's not all that BioGrass Sod Farms is all about.
Not all about. Yeah, not all is what's on the surface, right? So we're a sod farm, 45 years strong. Local company, family owned, and we're also the Big Yellow Bag, 21 years delivering soil with the Big Yellow Bag. And yeah, it's been a great service for us. It's very nice to be able to get product into customers' hands in larger quantities when, they may not always have the means of getting it to their house.
Yes.
Not everybody has a truck and trailer that own a house. A lot of people in townhomes, and this is just a great way for us to get some quality materials to a homeowner in a bulk quantity.
Absolutely. And you were mentioning that even if you need more than what the Big Yellow Bag is, that you can talk about the options there.
Yeah, so we also do bulk delivery. So I think the price point comes down to if you need more than like 2 cubic yards, you can save quite a bit on getting the product loose, so not in the bag, and we'll just come to your house with a small delivery truck or a big delivery truck if you need a lot. And yeah, we can deliver, 2, 3, 5, 10, 20 yards of compost or decorative bark or decorative rock or, pathway stuff. We sell road base, gravel. There's all sorts of stuff on top of the sod and seed that we do
That's right.
that we can deliver.
That's right. And if you have a truck, you can also go and pick up, right?
Yeah. 8630 South Redwood Road is our storefront. We've got 5 acres. There's over 30 different bulk products that you can choose from.
Wow.
So the world is your oyster, and you can bring a pickup truck with a dump trailer and take a few yards, or you can bring in as small as a 5-gallon bucket, and you can fill it up yourself for like $5 if you need something for your hobby garden on the patio of your apartment building.
Totally. Yeah. So there's a lot more than you would think. The big yellow bag is maybe too big or too small, but there's so many other options.
There really is. And I think that's what's so fun about coming to the show and showing the people the products and letting them touch and feel it and actually envision themselves having it, and then let them know, what else we do outside of the big yellow bag and outside of our sod. So yeah, just coming into our store and kind of chatting with us and seeing what's available is always really fun. So we encourage you to do that at our West Jordan store.
West Jordan store. And so talk a little bit about the proprietary seed mix of your sod.
Yes. So
it's really interesting to me.
So BioGrass has kind of slowly transitioned all of our seed mixes to what is called qualified drought tolerant mixes. So essentially, the Turfgrass Water Conservation Alliance is the top dog in seed mixes for drought tolerance. And we want to be right up there with them in water conservation when it comes to grasses. So you send in your seed and they test it over a 3-year period in 3 parts of the country. And they basically will come back and say, okay, your seed passes the test that if we stress it out and give it at least 30% less water than conventional grasses, you will still have look, feel, density, traffic tolerance, and all that stuff without sacrificing when using a lot of water and the actual beauty and use of a grass. So all of our grasses at this point in time are qualified. Every seed in each mix is certified drought tolerant, and you can kind of just have that peace of mind when you're xeriscaping or putting in a lawn that you're getting as much drought tolerance as possible. And that's kind of BioGrass's new message as we move into years where it seems like water is obviously becoming less common, and there's not as much to go around. There's more people and things like that. So.
Yeah. Okay, so along those lines, or even along the lines of compost, what is one piece of advice that you wish every Utah garden homeowner would want to know?
I think it is so important just to start somewhere. I think gardeners and people that buy a new house, or they've owned a house for a few years and maybe it's all weeds, or maybe they just always wanted to have a garden but they don't think they have a green thumb, just go out and buy that small cubic foot bag of soil and try and plant something and fail at it maybe. And then you'll learn something, and hopefully next year you feel confident to double the size of it. Or if you don't have to replace your entire backyard and do a full landscape and spend thousands and thousands of dollars, you can literally just clear out a 10 by 10 area and just feel okay, I understand something and I learned something this year. Now I feel comfortable going that next step and getting something else done. Because I feel like so many people get this analysis paralysis, and they will research and look and find and never do anything in their yard. And then it's been 5 or 10 years and they're wishing they would had something nice so long ago. So piece of advice would be just try one of the things that you want to do in your yard if you haven't yet.
I love that, because half the time it's just taking that first step.
It's so scary.
Yeah. Some people are like, oh, I won't have a green thumb, but it's really we make it out to, there's all the books and all the YouTube videos, and we make it out to be a little harder than it really is, right?
Right.
Put a seed in the ground.
There's so many hobby farm or gardeners that started with zero experience, no family or friends that did anything like that, and they just went out, they watched a YouTube video, or they didn't even do that. They just bought some soil and planted some seeds, and now they're like people that teach me about things because of how much time and energy they have spent just enjoying the hobby, starting from little to nothing. So
yeah, that's great advice. I love that because it empowers almost anyone to just try. Even if you have an apartment balcony, like get a container and put in, depending on whether you have sun or shade. I mean, you can always take a step.
If you don't even have a balcony, you can do a microgreen garden inside your house.
Such a good point.
There's no way of saying I can't do that if you want to. There's always a way to start somewhere.
That is such a good point. I love that. Okay, so as far as here at the show, do you have any special show pricing or anything that extends past the show?
Yes, we have a show discount where the bag is usually $175 for a cubic yard. That's how big the bag is, delivered to your front door or your driveway or your RV pad or curbside. But that discount, we are going to extend it through March. So as long as sorry, I didn't say the discount. It's usually $175. We're doing $25 off. So the bag is about $150, $160 after tax, delivered. And we're going to extend that outside the show as long as you take delivery in through March.
The month of March.
Exactly.
Okay. Yep. Fantastic. I love that. Okay, so where can people find you after the show if they want to learn more?
If you want to learn more, you can always call us. We have a bunch of salespeople that are educated and are happy to kind of talk you through the products. If you're more of a hands-on person, you can come to our store and touch and feel whatever it is before you purchase it. Or you can go to our website, bigyellowbag.com. Great resource for ordering the bag if you kind of don't care to be on the phone with anybody and order it that way. You can place your order that direction and it'll be showing up to your house in the next week or two.
Amazing. And I'll put all of those little tidbits on how to find them in the episode notes of the show. So if you're interested, check out those episode notes. Well, thanks so much for hanging out with me.
Yeah, thanks, Jana.
We'll have you back on the show for sure.
I need it.
Okay, I am here at the Live Earth Products booth at the Salt Lake Home and Garden Show. So tell me, who are you and tell us all about Live Earth?
Yeah, Russell Taylor, Vice President of Live Earth Products. I am an agronomist and happy to be here at the garden show. So my background's in agronomy. I consult on soils all over the world, including crops here in Utah like alfalfa, corn, and those type of things.
Amazing.
So in 2023, I actually received the National Certified Crop Advisor Conservationist of the Year Award in DC. So nationally recognized conservationist.
That is so cool. I love that. Okay, what is the biggest challenge that gardeners face that Live Earth helps solve?
So the interesting thing about Utah, we've got these beautiful mountains above us. And all those beautiful mountains, when that water comes down, brings calcium carbonate with it, limestone. So now limestone, we're all familiar with, that's what makes concrete hard, right?
Yes.
But all that is in our water, and it slowly builds up in our water and brings our pH up. So what we're fighting in Utah is actually a pH issue that impacts your nutrient availability. So by adding things that add a little bit of acidity, kind of counteract that calcium carbonate, react it. We're basically sitting on a giant Tums, right? So
yes.
a little bit of acidity helps release some of those nutrients that are already in your soil. And the Live Earth Humate is pH 3.0. So a little bit of acidity helps make those nutrients more available, give you those bigger, vibrant tomato plants and a greener, lusher lawn.
Amazing. Okay, so speaking of, what's one piece of advice you would give to a gardener to improve their garden this year?
Pay attention to your soil organic matter. You have two pools of organic matter. You have your passive fraction and your active fraction. So the microbes are breaking down compost manure very quickly. Did you know that about 80% of your compost is broken down by the soil microbes in the first year?
Whoa.
It's a lot, right? So the stable organic matter is what holds your soil structure, makes those macropores and micropores that store water, holds nutrients. So humates are a part of your passive organic matter fraction. So you've got the things that our microbes are eating and then the leftovers. So when you're amending your soil, add your compost, add your manure, and then add a little bit of humate to help add that passive fraction to your soil organic matter.
I love that. I've been a big Humate fan for quite some time, so I'm on this bus for sure. Okay, so do you have any special show pricing or show offers that extend through the rest of the month?
So we are a manufacturer. We sell
Yes.
locally through a lot of great distributors. So stop by Mill Creek Gardens, Intermountain Farmers Association, Steve Reagan, Sprinkler Supply. Check for their local specials. I don't have any here in the show that can speak directly to those stores, but stop by. I'm sure they've got something.
Fantastic. And then where can people find you after the show if they want to learn more?
Well, we're in Emory, so local company. Don't come to Emory. There's plenty of locations that have our products. If you don't want to drive all the way to Emory, you can buy us on Amazon. Just go click, and it's delivered to your door. Or visit those distributors I mentioned, Intermountain Farmers Association, Sprinkler Supply, Steve Reagan, Mill Creek Gardens. All the local garden supplies should have this in stock for you.
And they need to look for Live Earth products.
Yep, Live Earth Humate, that's us.
Thank you so much. So I am here at the Western Timber Frame booth at the Salt Lake Home and Garden Show, and I'm telling you, I'm immediately relaxed because it's this beautiful gazebo, and I'm sitting down and I'm realizing, wow, I can't wait to have mine, and it's just a vibe. And I'm here, it's also an extra vibe, because I'm here with my really good buddy, Scott Sutton, who I have been, how long have we known each other?
22 years, I think.
At least.
You know, when we were like 5 years old, maybe.
I know. Yeah, exactly. 5. Or just way back when we worked at KSL.
Yes, absolutely.
Back in the good old days. Oh my gosh. Well, it's so fun to sit with you here and talk about Western Timber Frame and just how amazing these structures are. So let's just start out with tell me a little bit about Western Timber Frame overall.
Western Timber Frame, they are a family owner operated company, been in business going on 16 years now.
Wow.
They're located out of Lehigh.
Okay.
And the way you kind of have to look at Western Timber Frame is they are a custom manufacturer of outdoor living space. So if you can dream it and we can draw it up, then they can literally build it. All of the work takes place down in Lehigh at the big shop down there. So what they do is pre-cut everything, pre-stain it, and then they pre-assemble it and then disassemble it, and they ship it to the home where the installers will be there. And so a typical beautiful gazebo like this would go up in a day.
Whoa.
And the other nice thing is they have a CNC machine, which is just a, computer programmed multi-cutting tool, right, with routers and everything. And so all of our joinery is just flawless, like cabinetry. It's all dovetail joinery. They even slot out grooves for each of the rafters. That's why you don't see, screws and bolts and right. Simpson brackets holding this thing together.
Wow.
And then,
I love this.
Come with a warranty as well.
Yeah, well, so you were just showing me some of the amazing custom work that you've done, and what interested me so much is that you were showing actually pictures of the family that they sent you. So talk a little bit about what is the main feedback you get from your customers that say whoa.
Oh man, and don't take my word for it. You can just look at our Google reviews. I think we've got nearly 400 or 400 plus now, and a 4.7 rating.
Wow. For
a builder. That's just unheard of. But, in my personal experience, there are some clients that really stand out that has been life-changing for them. Creating spaces where they are able to bring the indoors outdoors. Yeah. Some will build an outdoor kitchen. Some people just love to barbecue year-round. The one regret from the client I was just showing you, wish he'd put in more heaters originally, because they use it I think 10 out of the 12 months a year. And so that's one story, but they've got young children, and unfortunately, and you and I grew up, we didn't have the cell phones, we didn't have the interactive, everything that kind of sucks away that life from people, the younger and younger you get, especially. And I read this study that, said even prison inmates, they're mandated for an hour outdoor recreation a day. And unfortunately, that's more than most kids in the United States right now. And we all know why. I struggle with my kids, grandkids now. Fortunately, not yet, but, it's just the reality that we face. And so having this space where you can say, turn off the phones, kids, and out there. But then this other couple that came by, talked about how their children started inviting their friends over, and now it became a gathering place. And that's, you really want to get to know your kids' friends. There's nothing better than having them over night after night by providing a fun, exciting outdoor area that kids can be kids, but they're not always on their devices.
Absolutely. And it's a lot more than just an extension of the patio.
Oh, absolutely. We can do these freestanding. We can, by swimming pools, we can put in a pavilion, or excuse me, a pergola,
Yep.
Poolside that provides, about 70% shade. Of course, the shadows are always moving, but, to a freestanding gazebo like this out in the middle of a yard. And the flip side to that, we can build structures that are attached right to the house and cover a patio.
Yes.
So
if you don't have an existing covered patio, yes.
Exactly. And to distinguish, pergolas are pretty much your only one that has the the rafters and the shade planks. That's one that lets some sunlight through. And then the rest, like a pavilion or a gazebo, those all have a solid roof. And so whatever works best for that homeowner, that's what we go in, and with them we dig down and find out what works best for them.
Yeah. Yeah. What struck me, though, about the photos you showed me was it extended. It's like it brought the family outside, right? Because it was like separate from the house, and it was a gathering spot.
Absolutely. So Western Timber, they're very family oriented and centered around the family. And so, it's an extension from their ethos, their way of thinking. And it really is about family. And, I had another former client come through here, and they got married 3 years ago. And so they went to Western Timber and asked if we could, rush this job so that they could get married underneath it.
Oh, wow.
So
I was recently at a wedding, actually. It was a wedding reception. And they put all the catering and all of the sort of events underneath the pergola in their yard.
Yeah.
And it was the gathering spot. Even though it wasn't everybody sitting around, it was where all the activity, it was the hub of where all the activity happened.
Absolutely. And you can extend out in your backyard, whatever it may be, and have, like you said, the big setup underneath that area.
Yeah. And I just can't believe I'm at the Home and Garden Show, where you would think it'd be a relaxing place, right? But I am so relaxed right now, just sitting underneath this beautiful pergola with, right now we've got a water fountain, which you might be able to hear through the audio, which is super relaxing. But some of the photos you showed me, there's the outdoor fire pits and just the whole works.
Absolutely.
So right now, the pergola that we're in is redwood. Talk to me about all the other materials you can decide from.
Absolutely. So first of all, the redwood we get comes straight from Mendocino. And it is grade A heartwood, and meaning that you won't see the gray spots, you don't see blemishes. You can't get this anywhere else in the state of Utah, and this is our high-end material. Our bread and butter, however, is the grade A appearance Douglas fir, and it is all what's called free of heart. So, some folks may or may not know what that means, but if you've ever had a post that's supporting, a structure that twists on itself or is splitting, then most often that means that it has what's called box heart. And so if you have the very heart of the tree with a full concentric circle in a post, that's where it's going to split and bend on itself. So even all of the materials that we use for the posts are free of heart, as it's called. Oh. So in other words, all the grain goes one way. And that's why they're able to warranty either for 15 years or 25 years, Whoa. Depending on the structure. And it starts with the footings all the way to the top.
Wow. That is very cool. Yeah. So are there any show specials that are extended beyond the month?
We do. So through the end of March, and this is like a non-advertised, it's a home show, but we're offering it 20% off basically.
Whoa.
So that's for our decks. And that is for, all of our shade structures, pavilions, pergolas, gazebos, all of that. So in other words, you can take 20% off. throughout the rest of the month. And that can save you thousands depending on the size of your structure.
Absolutely. Okay, how do people get a hold of you?
Well, they can call me direct if they want. Scott Sutton at 801-244-5779, or email me at scotts@westerntimberframe.com. Or you can go to our website, which is westerntimberframe.com. Currently under a little bit of construction, revamping that right now.
Nice.
But yeah, you will still be able to find plenty of photos, pictures. Same with Facebook, social media,
Absolutely.
and that kind of thing. But no, feel free to call, and we will come to your home, look at the space that you're describing to us. We'll go through a series of options and photos and measurements. And, you know, myself and my other peers, my other design consultants, we will give you a fair bid by the end of that 90 minutes or so, if they can give us that much. And then if it's a fit for you or the homeowner, then we go forward with that.
Okay, I'll put all the ways to reach you in the episode notes. So if you're listening to this and you want to reach out to Western Timber Frame, go ahead and look in the episode notes, and we'll have Scotty's phone number right there for you.
Oh, man, Jana. Thank you so much for doing this, though.
Yeah, this is
you
fun.
know, it's great to see you, and you know, and it's my pleasure to be able to share what I am passionate about.
Well, this is beautiful, and I wish I could sit here the rest of the show. So thanks for letting me talk to you.
Thank you so much.
Okay, I am here at the New Earth Seeds booth. So tell me who you are and what New Earth Seeds is all about.
My name is Corey Dumont, and my wife Carolyn and I started this business. We specialize in heirloom only, organic and GMO-free vegetables, flowers, and herbs.
I love it. Looking around this booth is like giving me all the feels of like, I
Lots
cannot
of
wait
colors.
for spring. Yeah, for
Yes.
sure. So tell me, what would you say the biggest challenge that gardeners or homeowners face that your product helps solve?
Well, more and more people are searching for organic options, chemical-free, GMO-free, and we take pride in supplying that.
That's amazing. So what would you say is one piece of advice you'd like to give to Utah gardeners?
Seek out local seeds, seek out local growers, support your farmers market and local growers.
I love that. And why is that important?
It helps your local farmers to, first of all, make a living. You're getting a local product, locally grown, not shipped, not sprayed.
Love that. Not shipped. That's a huge element too.
Well, yeah.
I love that. And do you have any special show pricing or offers that extend beyond the show when someone's listening to this a week later?
Beyond the show, yes. I could tell you a coupon code for our website.
Fantastic.
Our website is newearthseeds.com. And if you enter code THANKYOU20, you'll save 20% on your full order.
Ooh, you heard that here, everybody. I love that. So where can people find you after the show? Just
newearthseeds.com.
love it.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
Okay, so I am here at the Monarch Greenhouse Solutions booth, and I have been just completely googly-eyed over their greenhouse that they have here on display. And I learned a lot from these guys about how to look for quality greenhouses. Tell me all about Monarch Greenhouse Solutions.
My name is Carter. I'm one of the founders of Monarch, along with Logan and Wade. And we love building greenhouses. We especially love food production, but we want to give people a space where they can, you know, feel a little more secure at home and in their state, and hopefully it will extend that more commercially as well.
And you guys are specifically located here in Utah.
Yeah, we actually grew up in Tula County, but we're based out of Salt Lake now, and we call Utah home. So we love the Mountain West, Idaho, Wyoming, Colorado. We just really care about its production. So.
And what really motivated you guys to focus on greenhouses specifically?
Honestly, it really was around COVID. You know, we saw grocery stores emptying out, and we're very motivated by, you know, giving security to Utah. So it really comes down to us as a kind of a production thing. You know, we want to see food grown locally. Also, if you ever look at berries in grocery stores, all of them have mold, strawberries. I mean, it's just kind of gross. We want to see those things come to Utah. We want to have better produce here, not only for, you know, security, but also just because it tastes better, more nutrition. We just saw it as the fix. So.
Yeah. What would you say one of the biggest benefits of getting a greenhouse is for the gardener?
The biggest benefits, it really depends on who you are.
Yeah.
A lot of people find a beauty in them, of course, and
Sure.
more fulfillment. I mean, we do come from the angle of production and safety, but I would say, right now it is cheaper to go get your food from the store, of course, but people find enjoyment in greenery, even for mental health, giving people something to do and care about. I think it goes a long ways.
Talk a little bit more about the security around food.
Sure. The vast majority of food is imported into Utah.
Yeah.
We do have a very strong meat industry in Utah, but not so much, especially fruits and vegetables. I mean, you got your onions, tart cherries, things like that. But for the most part, Utah's really lacking in it. Farmers markets are really cool. It's a great place to go. There's just not enough production. We need to increase production. This is just a great outlet for that.
Yeah. And so what's one big piece of advice you would give to a gardener in Utah this year?
This year, just grow anything.
Yeah.
A lot of people get scared. They think they have to plan out a lot, and they don't. Just start planting. My dad isn't a good gardener. He didn't really study it much, but he got greenhouses, and he just started throwing things in, and every year got better. And, a lot of people just get afraid to start. So I'd say go for it.
What would you say the biggest advice you have for those that own a greenhouse or are looking to get a greenhouse?
Biggest advice, I'd say really think about what value you're looking for. Prices in greenhouses range tremendously. There are grants through the NRCS that can give you high tunnel greenhouses. They don't look pretty. They, can be a pain in the butt, but they are a great way to get started.
Yeah.
If you want something a little higher end that's beautiful and stronger, it's going to be more enjoying, more enjoyment will come out of those. But, you have to think, is this really financially viable for me right now? I think it's worth investing more into your structures, of course, but also I'm biased. We want to build greenhouses that are awesome, but, I just get started on what you can, small. There's even little container ones that can go on the countertop, and it will teach you a lot about how those environments get controlled through moisture, humidity, heat retention, all sorts of things. You can start as small as you want and go a long ways.
Yeah, there's nothing like growing your own food that teaches you how fresh and different it is when you grow it yourself.
For sure.
It makes you realize, oh, okay, I need to do more and more, and it's addicting.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, the payoff will teach you a lot, because the more you're doing it, you eat that food and you go, I want that. Or maybe I don't want that. I want cut flowers, for example. Or, there's other goals people will have, and that's awesome. We want to encourage those things. But
for the people that reach out to you specifically at Monarch, what would you say their main goal is? Is it to grow like houseplants and greenery, or is it more to really start more serious food production?
We get a lot more food production, but a lot of times there'll be people that are like, hey, I want to grow oranges and limes or strawberries. Tomatoes are a big one. I would say, we got the show greenhouse here that has all the house plants, and it's awesome. And I think, we do see kind of gender specific, incentives around how they buy greenhouses. And it probably would surprise you too, like who's into what. But we do see a lot of gardeners, a lot of people that they see greenhouses as a security thing, and but we also get a lot of people that just love greenery everywhere. So we get it all.
That's the beautiful thing, is that you can do both. So speaking of the show, do you have any special show pricing or offers that extend after the show's over?
Call us and we will extend it. For the show price on our greenhouse, we did have a show price that was exclusive for the show. We can go ahead and extend that for a month, because honestly, it's hard to close these things at the show. So we didn't anticipate that part. We will go ahead and extend that. Give us a call. We'll end it
just
mid-April. We can stand by that. So.
That's amazing. That's amazing. So where can people find you after the show when they want to learn more? Where should they go?
Go to our website, monarchgreenhouse.com. And we got a beautiful website. Also, as soon as you reach out to our salesman, he's going to help you. He's very good at what he does. He'll match you with what is right for you. So
Awesome. One thing I learned from him yesterday, this was Wade, right?
yeah, Wade.
Is about the polycarbonate on the roof.
Mm-hmm.
That was a really good tip that I don't think I knew. So just hearing about how you need to be so concerned about the quality
For sure.
when you buy a greenhouse of the polycarbonate roof. Talk really quickly about why that's important.
So polycarbonate is very effective for insulation. It's very durable. You know, this is a greenhouse specific product. Glass is beautiful, but it's just expensive. People can look past the idea of getting glass when they realize like how awesome polycarbonate is, specifically on the roof. You know, if you're dealing with snow loads or hail, anything like that, even light intensity, you know, polycarbonate can be adjusted much easier for way more cost-effective solutions. So I would say don't be afraid of polycarbonate in places where you're okay with polycarbonate. Honestly, it's beautiful when it's on a full structure anyways, but glass, it's hard to beat. You know, that transparency, it's beautiful also. So doing those on the walls works great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I appreciate it. Repeat the website one more time for me.
MonarchGreenhouse.com.
Thanks so much.
Yeah, thank you.
So I'm here at the Thirsty Earth booth at the Salt Lake Home and Garden Show, and I am seeing just this crazy cool product. Why don't you tell me who you are and all about Thirsty Earth?
All right. I'm Eric Jordan. I work at Thirsty Earth. I'm one of the co-founders of the company. We created an Oya watering system where we use terracotta clay pots to water plants. Terracotta is a naturally porous material that allows the water to seep through the pores into the surrounding soil. It's a constant 24/7 slow seep. And as the soil dries out, it'll wick the water out through the terracotta into the surrounding soil via osmosis. That allows the plants to partially determine how much water they get, and you can imagine how happy and healthy plants are when they get to determine their own watering schedule.
Well, I'm sitting here looking at this basil plant, and basil is a very thirsty little plant, and it doesn't appear to have a lot of water when you're looking at, so we're looking through this clear glass, but the basil is like super perky and healthy and obviously very happy.
Yeah.
And is that just because the roots are pulling in exactly how much they need?
Yep. And so in normal watering, when you water a plant, you're oversaturating it, and then that's drying out. For a little while, you've got the perfect amount of moisture, and then it gets drier and drier, and the plant's thirsty, and then you do it again. And it's like this, it's almost like a feast-famine cycle for the plant roots. And with this, you know, people ask me about root rot, but there's not enough water being put out for that to ever be an issue. There's a constant amount that's put out via gravity just from the reservoir, and then the variable amount that the plant can determine by drawing the water out.
It's a fascinating concept, and it's perfect for those that don't have a big irrigation system, right? Like, what would you say is the best application for it?
Most of our gardeners are using it in raised bed gardening.
Yep.
We use it for in-ground, in grow bags. We've got people growing indoors, in greenhouses. Like, it's pretty broadly applicable, but raised bed gardening by far is the most popular.
I love it. I love it. And so, in general, what would you say your best piece of advice for a Utah gardener is?
Well, we are in a high desert, arid state, so really think about your soil quality, your moisture retention from the soil quality. So if you have like a lot of soil organic matter, you got good thick mulch, and a well-designed watering system. You know, sprinklers are okay, but they're kind of wasteful, and you can run into issues with mold. Drip is great. Next to us, they're the next most efficient thing, but we beat drip by 60 to 90%, depending on your soil conditions and what plants you're growing.
Wow.
Yeah.
And that's just because the plant's only taking what it needs when it needs it.
So imagine this. You've got a 4x8 bed. You got a dozen tomatoes in it. You get one of our kits. A 12-cup kit would fit perfectly. 1 cup to 1 tomato and a 5-gallon reservoir. You're going to fill that 5-gallon reservoir once a week, and that'll water your garden.
Wow. and probably reduce plant issues like blossom end rot.
Yep.
Which technically is just an over or under watering issue.
Yep. We find that when the plants have the exact right amount of water that they need, they get way less stressed and they're able to put all of that energy into growth. We've seen people have 30 to 50% increases in their yields just from switching over to our system.
Wow.
We had a local farmer who has a salsa garden, and he buys mason jars in quantity every year. We totally screwed him up because he got so much more yield than he was expecting. He bought the wrong quantities, and now he has all this produce. And he's like, "What do I do with this? Come on, you guys, you made problems." It's like, good problems to have.
It really is. It really is.
Yeah.
Wow. Well, this is fascinating. So, where can people find you after the show if they want to learn more?
www.thethirsty.earth.com.
That's a great domain.
Yep. So the email, the phone number, all the contact stuff, it's going to get you talking directly to me. I'm at the other end of the line, and I pick up anytime between 9 a.m. and 5 p.m. Mountain Standard Time.
Fantastic. Well, thanks for being on the show.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Well, thanks so much for hanging out with me today at the Salt Lake Home and Garden Show. Remember, all of the websites and contact information is in the episode notes. So go and check that out and make sure to support some of these guys if you're, in the market. I know I'm off to order my big yellow bag right after this, although I might just need a couple truckloads. So I'm probably just going to get some stuff delivered because I really need some good compost for mulching, because that is just the best way to prevent weeds, especially this time of year. Prevent weeds and also improve your soil at the same time. It's a no-brainer. All right, well, we'll see you next week here on Gardening Utah. And remember what I always say, grow big or go home.